Good evening everyone and welcome to our Hairbrain Live takeover. We are Slate Education. My name is James Akers and this is Michael Pizzolidis.
Hi everyone.
What are we doing tonight, Michael?
So we're doing something very fun, a little bit short, a little bit quirky. What this is going to do is it's going to have some really nice elements in it. It's going to have some disconnection in it, which is always a lot of fun to work with. We're going to be going quite tight here in the nape because obviously we want to accentuate the little growth patterns that we have and really bring out the head shape as well. But first I want to introduce you for our beautiful model, you.
Hi everyone, how are you guys?
So we've got a really nice exciting thing, but we're starting from the back, so don't get too complicated in all of the sectioning we have. We're going to leave some softer features here. We're going to be taking it tight, we're going to be layering the top, but for now all we're doing is we're focusing on this back area. What I want to do here is we've got this amazing jawline and I just want to accentuate it as we come up. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm taking my sectioning. You can see it's a lovely little triangle section in the middle. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to really be trying to build the weight out. So you can see that when I bring this angle out, I'm looking to really encourage the jawline to come down as well. So I'm doing this by pulling that first section out in the middle, lifting my fingers up so that I'm really pointing towards the jawline and I'm starting to cut it in. This way, I know that when I finish, it's going to really come in and sit close to the jawline.
So on a different person, would you choose a different length? Or?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, not every time you want to accentuate the jawline and really fill out the back of the head shape. So I think it's always down to what you're trying to look at and what you're trying to achieve. You know, sometimes it really doesn't look nice when you fill out the back so much. So I think it's very individual on that, where you want to point it to. Maybe this is going to be some very short graduation that's going to sit to the mouth, in which case I wouldn't want to do that.
Okay.
So I think you really have to think about where you're going with the haircut and where you want it to sit at the end. So this is going to come tighter in the front, but that's where I'm going to start using a little bit of disconnection through the sides and the top as well to help accentuate it.
Okay, great. So how do you decide this? What's your thought process coming up with the haircut?
I think I was very lucky because beautiful you here said to me, I said, what haircut can we do? And she goes, you can do whatever you want, but don't shave it. And that's a pretty cool thing to say. So I was quite open to what I can do. So you have no idea what I'm going to do now.
Yeah, but I trust him.
So that's the good thing. So what I think is really for me, when I started to have that much freedom, I just started to look at the hair more than anything and look at the face shape. I moved hair around and I thought, well, okay, this is something that I like. I want to see this, but it's a bit heavy here, so I'd like to make this a bit softer. The top I think would be really nice if it's laid. It's much more beautiful when I can see more of you's face, so I really wanted to bring it out. So for me, I always kind of look at the general and then I try and think what are the really nice features of this haircut. And so for me, having these softer bits, having the sides quite short and the top layered, will give me a really punchy, quirky look as well.
Amazing. We've got people tuning in, so I want to say hi from Tuscany, from Australia, from Greenland, people all over. Hi to Maria, who's always watching. Hi Maria.
Hi Maria.
North Dakota, we've got people tuning in from Poland as well.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
So yeah, guys, you know, let us know where you're from, but also let us know if you have any questions. We love hearing what you have to say about this haircut or any haircut in that respect. If you do have any questions about cutting hair, any questions in general, we always love to hear them and answer them, so don't be shy as well. So just coming back to the haircut, you know, what I'm doing now is I've been pivoting so far. So I've been pivoting each section round as I work. And so what I'll do is I'll just come back and I'll show you. So we're finishing one side up, but we're still going to cross-check. So what I've done is I've pivoted, I've taken one section, I've really angled it towards the jaw, and I've taken each section round, pivoting. Now, people will ask, how much should I pivot, or how much should I over-direct? Should I pull this hair all the way back? Should I pull it all the way up? What should I do with this next hair? And the truth is, it's up to you what you want to do with it. The more you pull the top hair down, the more long you're going to get in the front. The more you pull this hair up, the shorter you get in the front. So you can really see that as well. When you have the hair and you pull it up higher, you end up going for something higher. When you pull the hair more down, you end up with something longer. So how much over direction when you pivot, so when you go from the first to the second to the third, How much should you be pulling it down? Depends on how much length you want in the front. The angle's already been decided from the first section though, so how heavy it's going to be, basically.
Just want to say hi everyone, thanks so much for telling us where you're from. We've got people from all over, from Romania, Albania, from Glasgow, Roma, Hawaii, Arizona.
Hawaii. Does anyone from
Aloha.
Hawaii want to bring us over? I think James is going to look really sexy in one of those hula outfits, right?
If you want to take us to Hawaii, we'd be more than happy.
I think James should wear one of those really nice little sexy flowers.
Hula hula.
Hula, right? You can imagine it, right?
Yeah. I want to see that.
Yeah, I think we all want to see that. So give us a thumbs up if you want to see James in a hula outfit. And if we get enough likes, we'll make sure next time he's in a little hula outfit where he's doing a hairband live.
Of course. If you all like and share the video, then I will definitely wear a hula next time, I promise.
Guys, please, I want to see him in a hula. Come on, this is going to be fun. So basically back to the haircut, right? What I've done is I've done this first section. So it's just done this first section. I'm going to do a little recap. I took my first section, I pulled it out, and I found the angle that I wanted to create. In this time, I really wanted to push it towards the jawline. So I came in very tight, working it down. Then I moved each section round. I think we have the boss in the back watching it. So what we're going to do is, as we're moving our way around, we've got to decide how much we're pulling the hair up or how much we're pulling the hair down. The more we pull the hair down, the longer it's going to go. The more we pull the hair up, the shorter it's going to go as well.
So Dennis has asked a question.
Cool.
So the sectioning is where the head curves.
You mean this one? This fundamental sectioning, Dennis? Which sectioning
Let
do
us
you
know,
mean?
Dennis, what you mean exactly.
So I think it's very different. If you talk about this one, what I decided this sectioning because it's really where I wanted to fill out the head shape more. So because I wanted to fill out the head shape more in this area behind, I'd sectioned this off so I can really build it. From this point, the bones stick out a lot. So I want to make sure that I'm going flatter here. So I sectioned it off where I wanted to build the weight and where I wanted to flatten the weight.
Perfect. I hope that answers your question, Dennis. Let us know. We've got a question from Jacinta.
Hi, Jacinta.
What about lines in this type of oriental hair? Sometimes they can be very noticeable.
Yeah, so I think whenever you want to get rid of weight lines, whether it's thick hair or thin hair, straight hair, curly hair, one of the easiest and best things to use is tension. So the more tension you use, the more chance you have of not seeing lines in the haircut. But it's also about refining. So we'll show you a great little technique when I'm done of how we refine the back and we cross-check. So I think tension and refining while you cross-check is a great way to not get any lines in this type of hair as well. So there's a couple of different things you can do, but certainly a clean technique will allow you with a lot of tension and a really good cross-check. So again, I'm just pivoting. I'm pivoting, but I'm also elevating as I work. And if you want to know how much I'm elevating, well, I'm doing it the same as I did on the other side. How I know this is because I'm pointing my fingers again to the same place. I'm pointing my fingers towards the jawline each time, and I'm measuring how much I'm elevating as well.
So what will the elevation do? What's the difference between going higher or lower?
So yeah, again, as I said before, the higher I elevate it though, when I'm working around my sections and I'm pivoting, I'm actually getting shorter in the front. So if I move my fingers up as I work, I'm going to end up shorter, maybe towards the mouth. If I pull my fingers down, I'll be ending up longer as well. So I think that's a key one. You know, obviously, normally the higher we go, the softer things are, but in this case, we're actually also defining, okay?
Yeah.
Right. Get us some water. So,
Thank you.
it's fine. We normally eat hair, so don't worry. It's always really bad. I think all hairdressers know what I'm talking about. We always eat a little bit of hair as we work. So I think, yeah, the important thing is also how heavy it is.
So, I need a water break. There we go. Freshly bought for you.
So guys, as we said, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Give us a little comment and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions. If you do like this video, please like and share. We really appreciate it as well. So thank you so much. You okay now?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. We do customer service as well. Yeah. It's not just a nice haircut, you see.
Good service.
So Michael, do you want to tell us a bit about the space that we're working in?
So the space is standard in Slingsby. It's a really beautiful, beautiful salon that's been really nice enough to host us, where we've been refurbishing our academy space in London. It's run by two really amazing guys, Nick and Michael. And Nick and Michael are really amazing guys, old school Susunis, you know, some of the original guys that did the original videos for Susu. So they're really amazing to watch. You know, when you watch them work, they're almost like they're dancing. It's just so, everything's done in slow motion, the way they comb the hair, the way they grab it, the way they cut it. It's beautiful to watch.
It really is.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more quick than them, but what can I say?
So we were in this space actually yesterday, weren't we?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun yesterday. It was a really great time. Why don't you tell everyone about what we did yesterday?
So we had 15 guys over from Greece, guys and girls, and we did a show a few months ago in Athens with Armour Beauty. And Armour Beauty have brought over these 15 guys to come to Salon International and to come to a bespoke one-day's course with us. So we did an amazing presentation in the morning. We had some beautiful models, which you'll see posted on our Instagram in the next few days. And then we did a great workshop in the afternoon. So it was super fun.
It was indeed. So we'll come back to that in a second. I just want to kind of explain to you guys where I'm at the moment with the haircut. So what I've done is I've done the graduation on both sides, but now I want to cross-check my work. So I'm just going to ask you to uncross her legs, just so she sits nice and straight. That way I've got better balance when I work as well. So if you just move over a bit, Francesca, just so we can see a bit better with the light. So I'm going to tilt the head down. Now normally I would keep the head up, but just so you guys can see better, I'm going to tilt the head a little bit more down. And I'm going to be coming over, and I'm going to be working horizontally. Now, all I'm checking is the hair from left to right, that it's the same. I'm going to scissor over comb this, so I don't mind that it's quite jumpy at the moment. So we're just going in, taking horizontal sections, elevating the hair, and then cutting across.
So, that's no problem. So, your elevation here is the same as you were previously?
So yeah, it's the same as we were previously. That's it. So we just worked with consistent elevation. So we're trying to do the same elevation that we did last time as well.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Well, it's looking great so far. I'm excited to see the end result.
So this is why basically what we're doing now is we're helping you get rid of those weight lines. So if you're worried about those weight lines, now is your chance to get rid of them. You pull the hair out, you check the hair from left to right, and you make sure it's a clean line across. So one of the techniques of getting a clean section here is when we comb the hair, we're going to do something like a peace sign, and we're going to put the comb in from both sides. So once the comb goes in the hair, it goes under and it goes over the top and it pushes the hair away, and you grab a section. So let's put that into practice now. We comb the hair down, we put our finger underneath the comb and on top, and at this point you can see we're grabbing a small bit of hair. So it's not a huge piece of hair, and we're just cross-checking it as we work. So this is a way we're checking the balance from both sides, and we're not grabbing a huge amount of hair.
I think it's really important when we think about weight lines as well, that if we're working horizontally and we don't want any weight lines, that we have to elevate slightly more each time in our sections.
And this is the thing, over-elevating or elevating more than you did from the previous is always going to help things be a little bit softer. So what I'm going to do now is I've basically refined it from the middle. So I know that that middle section is nice and balanced. I'm going to come from the side now, and I'm going to elevate the side out, and I'm going to start to refine the side as well. So you can see the angle that my comb goes in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my fingers go in at the same angle with the comb as well. So anything that bulks out at the moment is going to be cut. And this is how we really cross-check each thing. So what I do is I have a guideline from the middle, I come over from the side, and I cross-check from the side. So let's put the head straight, there we go. And so working, comb in, grabbing a small section with our fingers, and just cutting from the top to bottom, making sure there's no bulk as we work through.
Beautiful. I guess this is the difference between your haircut sitting nice and it's sitting amazing.
Well, and also, you know, between weight lines and not. So, you know, it's really important that we get those nice, clean lines. So just working from left to right, and then we'll do the other way as well afterwards. So it's not a huge bit of hair coming off, so we're not changing the shape. We're just refining the shape. That's all we're doing. So now I'm working through the second side. I'm just putting the comb in. It's easier to see with the comb. You can just pop your fingers in and anything that bulks out can just be cut. So again, working my way through each time, making sure it's a nice clean comb. So the center is my guideline, and anything that holds a little bit of weight now from in between that has to come off.
So remembering your elevation, you've got that great trick with your fingers that you can look against the skin.
So I do this little thing that helps me remember my elevation as well from one side to the other. I have a tendency to do this a lot, and I do it subconsciously now. I measure with these two fingers my distance away from the skin when I work, and then I grab the hair like this. So when I'm putting it in, you can see if you come from underneath maybe a little bit, I'm just putting my fingers onto the skin now, and it's allowing me to measure my elevation. So if I want to go lower, my hands are more closed. If I want to go higher, my hands are more open. So I can decide as well how much elevation I want and keep it nice and consistent. So that's our trick for consistent elevation. Guys, let us know where you're from. Give a shout out.
We've got people coming in from Deutschland, Chicago, New Jersey, Germany.
Yeah.
Hola, I'm presuming that's from Spain.
Nice.
We've got some nice things as well. Dennis saying perfect explanation to show how to work cream. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis.
And Cindy saying hi from Hamilton, Ontario. Loving this, you're excellent at teaching. So there you go.
Oh, that's super sweet. But guys, you know, we really love a bit of interaction as well. We want to hear your comments. We want to hear what you want to learn as well. If you have trouble with anything, weight lines, we just talk about consistent elevation. Anything that you guys think that you want a little bit of help on, we'll be happy to try and answer. So right now, we've got to the point where I've just done some graduation in the back. It's got a nice head shape. It sticks out here, but I'm gonna come and refine that later. I want it to dry off a little bit, and then I'm gonna be able to come in and just scoop that in and just refine it a lot as well. So you said to me she doesn't mind that we go nice and tight there. So I've just built that head shape up, just built the weight a lot through the top, and we can come back and work through that a little bit in a second. So looking good.
Is working wet to dry something that you do?
Yeah, I try to a lot, you know, it just depends on what circumstance. You don't always have the time to let it dry naturally, you know. Yeah. It would be great if every appointment was like 4 hours long and then you could just take the time, you know. But I don't think you really wants to hang around. It's 9 o'clock at night here in the UK, so in 4 hours you kind of want to be home at that point. So I'm just going to take this section a little bit cleaner so it's not in my way so much. And then I'm going to move on to my next zone. So what we do is we call these bits zones. What they mean is they're just fundamental sections that have moved away. So I know here what I want to do is I want to take it definitely shorter. I can feel the bone structure where it sticks out. And we always try and base our haircuts on bone structure. Obviously you've got to imagine that the head shape is like a canvas. And you've got to think where the hair is going to fall and where it's going to lie. So if you have a head shape that sticks out, you want to try and slim that area. So it's something really easy and nice you can work with when you think of the bone structure. Think of it almost like a canvas, right? When you paint on a canvas, imagine that canvas so it sticks out in places and folds in. We are really working around the head shape. The head shape is the canvas that our art sits on. So we do have to take a lot of time and think about it. So what you can see is I've taken a section now from the top to the bottom. Now this section is one of the widest points of the head from the side. It's normally around behind the ears. So it's normally more beautiful if you take that and you slim it a little bit in that area. So what I'll be doing is I'll be working to slim this area a little bit more and then slowly connecting it to the back.
So with the end result, we're looking for something that's symmetrical?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be fairly symmetrical. Obviously, it's never fully symmetrical when we talk about a side parting, because this will have a bit of a side parting, okay. But it is going to be generally a more symmetrical. Yeah, it's going to have a feel of symmetry. So you can see here that the way my fingers are angled is pretty flat to the head shape. What this is going to do is it's actually going to make it a little bit more of a flatter finish. If my fingers were elevated like this, or angled like this, it would mean that I would have a heavier shape. And what I'm trying to do is flatten. If anything, if I want to flatten a lot, I can come up more of a layered technique. So it really depends on what you're trying to achieve as well. Beautiful. So we see the light a bit better now. So we're just going to come nice and flat through here, and we're going to start to take it in. Now what I'm doing is I've done the length, I think, but I've gone a little bit longer just so I can see how it's sitting. And if I like the way it sits, then I'll be happy and I'm actually liking the way that sits, so I'm quite happy.
Quite unpredictable.
Yeah, but that's nice. It's nice. Just feeling it a little bit. So what we're doing is we're pivoting a little bit around. So we've got that wide point, and that's the point that I really want to keep quite flat. So what I'm doing is now I have a guideline. So I have 2 points of reference, which I like. I have the top and the bottom. So the bottom's being cut, and the first section from the top's being cut. So I'm going to now connect these two as well.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. People coming in from all over still. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. We're happy to answer any question that you have. Please, and as well, if you like what you're seeing, please like and share the video.
Remember, if we get enough likes and shares, James will wear a hula, a nice Hawaiian little coconut bra for us. Yeah. Exactly. So if you want to see James in a nice little coconut bra outfit, please like and share. Beautiful, guys. So what we're doing now is we're just coming through and we're just connecting. So I'm really making sure that we're sitting nice and flat on the sides over the ears, and we're connecting to this nice weight in the back. So we can start to see the shape filming or building a little bit better. Now, working from this pivot point and connecting through, I'm going to leave more weight in the back. So the idea is that we have more weight in the back and we have a shorter piece. If I now work through from here and start connecting, as I start connecting to each longer piece, it's going to progressively get longer as I work through. If that makes sense, guys, give it a thumbs up. If it doesn't, let us know and we'll be happy to answer or explain it again better.
Sarita's asked, is it easy to blend blonde hair?
I don't know, what do you think? Is it easy to blend one?
I think it depends on whether the hair's coloured or what you're talking about. I mean, let's say that you had bigger roots and we were going shorter, what we can tell by the colour is the balance. So the actual colour of where the blonde is sitting can tell us actually how our balance is because of the roots that have grown out. But I don't see the difference in the colour. It's more the texture maybe from bleach. And I guess like you said earlier, if something's bleached and it's swollen, then using more tension will help us blend it.
Yeah, I think always, like we said, straighter hair, like you said, texture is a big thing. Like straighter hair always has a tendency to show more what you're doing as well, you know, to see if there's weight lines or not, as opposed to curly hair when you'll never really know either way. So I think that does a lot. I think bleached hair has a tendency to stack a lot, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it does come out. So I think that's a lot of it as well, if it's coloured or not.
So let us know if that helps and answers your question at all, Sarita. If not, we'll be happy to go into more depth.
I mean, obviously, either way, when you're working, you have to try and be as clean as possible so you don't get the weight lines. And it's not always just about pointing. Normally, weight lines is from under elevation. So, you know, when your shape gets too short, that's from over elevating when you start going around. When you under elevate and you miss your guideline, that's when you start to get weight lines. So what I mean is, if you're elevating, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the 7th one, you miss it and you go longer, that's what will happen when you get a weight line. So if you come and check it vertically, what you'll find is you'll find a one long piece sticking out, and that will tell you that what you've done is you've under elevated. So you've gone too far down on the head, and therefore you've left a weight line.
That makes sense. Let us know if that makes sense, guys.
Yes, please let us know if it makes sense or not. Cool. So we're doing the same thing now. We're slimming this area where the bones stick out. We're just building the weight behind the head as well. So we're really allowing the hair to push back.
So you're using some over direction now?
Not really so much over direction. It's a very natural form of over direction. So what you'll find is that actually when we work a lot horizontally or diagonally. It's actually the finger angle that makes the over direction more than actually pulling it. So what I'm doing is I'm not really grabbing the hair and then I'm over directing it like this. I'm just trying to work with the way the hair grows. So if I see the hair coming out here, let's say this is where it falls naturally, I'll try and pull it out where it falls naturally and cut it there. And that'll be the angle of my fingers. So if my fingers were more pointed away, it would be more triangle. But now when my fingers are pointing more towards the head shape, we're just going a little bit more rounded.
Olivia says, hey Michael, miss you mate, see you on Tuesday.
Amazing. See you soon, brother. Always a funny lad. So, what we're doing is we're just working through. Now you can see the beautiful thing is we have the short, and now we're starting to connect each side. So we have the short from the front where the head's heavy, and we have the longer section in the back, and we're just connecting it through now.
Cool.
Cheers.
So then, once you've done this section, are you going to do the same section on the other side?
I'm going to do the same on the other side. So yeah, we're just going to have a little repeat on the other side of what we're doing.
Nice. Really nice.
Yeah, it's coming out a nice little short and quirky shape, which is exactly what we want.
So tell us a little bit about what we've got coming up, the courses, what we've been doing.
Well, I think the biggest thing is the launch of our Slate Academy here in London again, in Berwick Street. So we've been having it a little bit refitted recently, and so it's going to be a crazy new space, and we're going to be launching next year's collections, our course dates. So you'll be able to go online on our Facebook, our Instagram, and actually see our new course dates for next year come up. So if you're not following us on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, please check it out so you can stay up to date in the new year. You'll see the new academy when it's finished, so we'll be launching some images of it. Our bespoke little space in central London. It's one street away from Oxford Circus, so it's in between the really old school Soho area and Oxford Circus, where you'll be able to come to our London Academy and get some courses with us. So if you want to know more, you can just message us on our social media, or you can follow us and see our course dates when they come up in our new space in London. So really exciting.
Super exciting. I mean, I went to go and see it the other day and it's looking great.
Yeah. So we'll be really excited to welcome everyone into our new space in the new year. It should be finished maybe early December, I think, is where we're going for. So right, well, what I'm doing now is I'm coming back to the second side, but what I'll do is I'll do a little recap, since now we're doing the same thing here as we did on the other side. So we start here, we've already done the back, so we've already worked through this back area, creating this lovely graduation which sits on the jawline as well. So we worked through the back, and we had a lovely little section which came almost like a bit of a triangle here. So we had done the back, we had built the way up, so we've got a really nice shape that we've created here, and we wanted to slim the sides and then build the weight into the back. So I started with a vertical section so I can really slim the weight down, and then I started to come over and I'm pivoting as I work around, one section, two as I work, and I'm connecting this to the back, but because it's graduation, it ends up being longer in the back. And so connecting the short hair to the long hair really builds the weight. So as I work through, it just gets progressively longer. So it goes flat, short, and then short to long in the back. So it's a bit of a rounded shape coming through. If that makes sense, guys, give us a thumbs up. If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up. And yeah, please, if you have any questions, don't be shy. Just comment and let us know what you think.
Beautiful. It's looking great so far.
Thanks so much, guys.
Do you have any tips for finding balance?
Yeah, I think balance is just simply checking. I couldn't give a better tip than that. I think the reason why a lot of hairdressers are better at getting balance than other hairdressers is not because they're somehow like miracle robots and they can just find it better than all of us. They like analyze it in a mathematical way. No, I think that's rubbish. I think they just check.
They check more.
They check more. And I think that is the secret to a good haircut, is just being a little bit more diligent. Just really taking your time to kind of check what you're doing and checking it twice. I think like Sammy does that, doesn't he? Check things twice. Yeah. So it's good enough for him, it's good enough for you, right? So that's the way to do it. And really.
So sorry, Karina's asked a really good question.
Hi, Karina.
Thanks for the question, Karina. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a really good one.
That's a good one. I think one of the best advices I got, really, it's hard to put it on, but one of the things that's really taken me forward in life recently, in the last few years, has just been to work incredibly hard. And I know it sounds stupid, but I think it was that thing where it was just go the extra mile, you know, and it's one of those things that's really kind of stuck with me when they said that. They said just go the extra mile. And it was like that, you know, and still for many years, it's like if there was a chance that I had to do something extra, I would do it, whether if it was a day off and go on an extra shoot, doing an extra class, going for an extra lesson, just really putting yourself out there to do as much as you can. You know, you're only on this earth once, from what we know. Until we find out, it might be too late. And you kind of have to take advantage of it. You know, time flies quite quickly. And I think for me, just hearing those stories about some people who just went the extra mile. And so for me, that was really it. Just kind of, if you want to achieve something, you just have to push.
Guys, why don't you let us know some of the best advice you've ever been given? It'd be great to hear your thoughts.
Maybe your advice will be the best I ever heard, so that'll be will help.
So, Michael, Tony's asked if we have any classes in Los Angeles. Maybe we can talk about how it works, how Slate works.
Yeah, so normally what we do is we get hostings within America. So within Europe, we do a lot of work with our distributors. So we work with distributors and product companies around the world a lot as well. Within America, we've mostly come from when salons have asked us to join them. So if you do have a salon or an academy in America and you want us to come, we'd be more than happy. In Europe, you have to let us know where you're from, and we'll have to let you know which distributor we work with within your area, and we'd love to help you out. So I think the easiest thing to do is if you are interested in a class in a certain area, just give us a contact on one of our social media or contact us on our website at slatehair.com, and we'd be more than happy to kind of let you know how everything works and how you can see us. But our door's always open in London.
Amazing. God, we've got some brilliant questions tonight.
Oh, good, I like that.
Nicholas has said, who's been your biggest inspiration outside of hairdressing?
Outside of hairdressing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Can I say my grandfather, or is that a bit cliche?
No, that's all right.
No, I think basically my grandfather, he had to go abroad and work from a very young age. So from about 13, he was working already, you know, away from home in a lot of really crazy places, and he always worked really hard his whole life. So he used to spend kind of most of the year away from his family, and he used to see them only two weeks every year. So I think someone who works that hard to help his family have a better life outside of hairdressing is a huge inspiration to me. So if you want to talk about work ethic and putting someone else's, you know, prosperity above your own, then that's a great example to me. So yeah, that's it.
I think that's definitely valid.
That works.
Yes, really.
Cool. So guys, tell us who yours are. We'd like to hear as well. You know, I think the truth is that you can find mentors everywhere in this world. You know, I've had some really amazing mentors, especially in hairdressing as well. You know, and they're not the famous people, they're the people that just stood by me, you know, all the time as well. So I think those are the huge things in life. Is you think that maybe you have to find these people that are really famous. No, you know, anyone that's around you that inspires you. Any older generation that are there to give you their wisdom is such an important thing. You know, we kind of forget a little bit the wisdom of the older generation. You know, kind of everyone our age thinks they know it all, I think. And so it's so important to kind of realize that there's mentors all around you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to this haircut quickly because I'm doing something a bit interesting now, I think. I'm actually now connecting the top. So I started from the top, and I'm working my way down the haircut. So by doing this and elevating really high up, I'm saving that softness in the outline as well. So it's a bit disconnected in the front here, but we're just allowing that front to come down and blend through the top as well. So we see we have that softness and it just blends and connects. So right now what we have is we have this lovely little shape coming through. So we have that shape coming through where the weight in the back is building a nice little bit. We have that softness and that really tight shape now where the bone structure sticks out, and we have this lovely little soft area coming through as well. So that's looking really cute for me.
Beautiful.
So what I'll do is I'll do the same thing on the second side. So anyone who didn't miss that, they can come back and see it as well. So we'll just, again, take the hair nice and tight. So for me, you know what, I'm not a clean freak, right? I'm not a clean freak. but having clean sections allows you to do your work better. What I mean by that is you'll be able to see what you have done, what you haven't done. You'll actually be able to work to the bone structure. So your haircut should be personalized. You shouldn't just do the same haircut on every single person that comes in. I think we can all agree on that. So really by seeing the head shape, seeing the features, seeing the bone structure, and not getting lost in the haircut. I think a lot of hairdressers end up getting lost in their haircuts and taking cleaner sections. They don't have to be ridiculously clean, you know what I mean? But just clean enough that you can really see the bone structure. You can see what you're doing is so important. So you can see what I did was I took the first section where the bones stick out the most, and I lifted it up and I measured again with my fingers. So I can see better now. What I'm doing is I'm taking horizontal sections and I'm elevating it up as I work as well. So I'm elevating it up and we're holding it over and we can see, and we just cut across. So by elevating it up as well, we're layering this bit. So we've got graduation, 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 flat bit here. This is layered, it's disconnected in the front. So we're just lifting it up and going further. Because we're finishing a really major part now, I'm going to do a huge recap for you guys. So if you haven't heard what's going on yet, we can. If you are enjoying this, don't wait. Like and share it, please. We really appreciate it.
Thanks to everyone who is sharing, by the way. We really appreciate
amazing.
it, guys.
Thanks so much, guys. So this is looking really cute and quirky. I love it.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Thank you.
I have to see it.
Yeah.
No,
So you're not allowed to see it yet.
I've been listening.
Yeah. So first of all, we'll just do a little recap. I'm Michael. This is James. We are from Slade Hair Education, and this is the beautiful you.
Hi, you guys.
So you said something amazing that you want to hear every model say. She said, I don't really mind what you do, just don't shave it.
Mm-hmm.
She said I can shave the back, so when you see me shave the back, don't think I'm She said I could. So what we're doing is we'll start by explaining to you what we've done in the back. So sorry to spin you around you. So we started from the back. What we did is we actually had some interesting sectioning here. We had section of a little triangle first from the top here. Now the reason I've done this is for two reasons. One, I wanted to really have the strength in the back to see the head shape. So at this point, I wanted to make sure it was very heavy and wide because we really want to fill out the head shape here. So I started off with this first section in the middle and I got my line which comes in straight to the jaw, so we're really filling it out. What this did was we worked with a nice little triangle section in the middle. We brought the hair out, we lifted it up and we connected it in, and we worked around our sections. So we were taking lovely little triangle sections as we worked all the way around, building it up and building it up. So once we brought this down, we cross-checked it and we have this lovely little fitted graduation. When we came through the sides here, we had separated the front from this area, and so again we had another little triangle section here, and I'll try, it's very short now, but I'll try and show you a little bit what it looked like. So if we can imagine, you have this, how are we going to do this? You have this lovely little triangle section here, so it comes all the way down to the ear and comes up across. What we did was we worked flat in this first section and then we pivoted round and connected. So we connected that front bit to the back. So when I cut hair, I like to work with connecting dots. You know, like when you're a child and you have a children's book and you connect dots. I'm still a child at heart, so I still like to cut hair like that. So I have one dot, and I connect it. One dot, and I connect it, all the way working through. Now because this dot is short and this dot is long, it means that I got shorter into longer lengths as well. So it all blends really nice and sits down. What I did after that was I worked from the top here. I took a section over, I elevated the hair, I cut across, and then each section here was elevated up and elevated up. So I really wanted to save that length in the bottom here. So you see how it gets longer. So that's a little bit of a layer, and it just sits nice and soft, but it slims it down as well. So I think that's really cool. And that's it so far. If you like, guys, please like and share. If we get 500 shares, James is going to wear a Hulu outfit, a Hawaiian outfit with the coconuts as well. Obviously I won't, but for James offered, so it's fine. Cool.
Just in this fab model, guys. So he's looking gorgeous.
Looking amazing.
I want to see myself.
So.
Okay, so what we got next?
So now we're going to work through the top. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wet down the hair now. One big thing that I like to say is you know, for me, creating an image of hair that you want to see is very, very important to have more control. So the more control you have, the more chance you'll have of creating the image you want. So if you can create the image you want, then that only happens when you have more control. And the way we have more control a lot of the time is more water. So the more water we have, the more control we have. So if the hair's very dry, we don't have the same level of control. It kind of slips out of your fingers, if you know what I mean. So we want to make sure that the hair's not slipping out of our fingers, so we make sure it's nice and wet as well.
So when would you work on dry hair, or would you just never?
So dry hair I would, but more at the end, more when I'm trying to perhaps create something a little bit different. Do you want to just write it down a little bit more for me? So I think what I'll do is when I work on dry hair is more at the end when I'm trying to personalize. So if I'm trying to clean the back, you'll see I'll probably do it when it's a little bit more dry, or when I'm trying to finalize the image. So not really at the beginning, more at the end essentially. Okay, so we've taken out a new section. This is the top section as well. So it just works through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the top, I'm going to lay the top, and then I'm going to be connecting. So again, I'm working with dots. So I'm here, I have my lovely little section through the top that I'm going to create. And once I do that, I'm then going to connect the dots and connect from the top to the bottom as I work. Okay, so we're just taking a section from the top to the back. Now, remember the back, we wanted to build the weight. So we have a great guideline here from the back to build the weight more as well. So when I elevate this out, I'm going to have a guideline from the back to work with. So as we lift up the hair, we're going to find the back length that we have, and we're going to work from that back point. So by working from that back point, we're still building the weight in the back, which is very, very important. We want to build the weight in the back.
So what shape would you say?
So this is a round layer essentially. You know, the reason we call it a round layer is because it goes shorter in the front to longer in the back. Something that we want to kind of push off the face. So can anyone out there tell me what short hair does to long hair? You'll get a free day of education in London if you want. So
wow.
Who can tell me what short hair does to long hair? Let's see how many people answer that correct. Thanks so much. So we're going to push all the hair back now by doing this. We go from shorter in the front to longer in the back.
I think it's nice sometimes working in zones, isn't it? It really splits everything up for you so you don't get lost.
That's it. You know, essentially it's all about not getting lost in your work. I think too many hairdressers get lost in their work. The other thing is, you know, I was speaking to one of the owners of the salon here, and he said something really good. You know, he's seen a lot of great hairdressers, and he said, you know, normally things go wrong when the hairdresser either doesn't listen in the consultation, so the consultation's wrong, they don't listen to what they're saying, and then obviously the client's not happy at the end. And he goes, another thing you saw really wrong is that a lot of the time the client goes, I love the haircut that you did, and they go, well, can I have the same thing? And they start laughing. You know, the hairdresser goes, well, I can't do that again, can I? You know, because a lot of hairdressers do. They just work on feeling. They don't work technically to say, this is where I start, this is where I end. So the beautiful thing is I could do this haircut again and again because I've done it very methodically. I've understood where I started and where I finished. So what you can see now is I'm just connecting the dots again. I'm just taking from the underneath that I've done, from the top that I've done, and I'm just connecting the dots. So I'm taking my sections horizontally, I'm lifting the hair up, and I'm just connecting from left to right.
So we've got some people with the correct answer.
Ooh, how many people?
Quite a few.
I like that. Good. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to do a draw. We'll put all your names in a raffle, and we'll announce it on our Slate Hair Education Facebook page. So we'll see who's won their free day of education in London.
Corinna asked another question. Do you use different length scissors for different styles that you do?
Personally, no. I think I know a lot of people do. I know a lot of people will tend to use, you know, bigger scissors when they're doing scissor over comb or when they're doing long hair. I'm a 4.5 guy, man. I just like my little 4.5 scissors. So I personally don't. That's not to say it's not right or it's not wrong. You know, I have a tendency of working in very little panels. So what I try and do is I try and work in very, very little panels as I go. Beautiful. So there we go with the lovely little length as well. And so this is designed to just sit back as well. And I love that. Just coming through and kicking out. Gorgeous.
That's looking beautiful.
Thank you so much. I put makeup on today.
I can tell.
Thank you. All right, so we've done one side, we've done the second side. So now it's just the last bit left as well. The weight's been built nicely. The length is there as well. It's nice and soft. So yeah, looking really cool.
So guys, for everyone that answered that the shorter hair pushes the longer hair, write down in this feed your email address, and what we'll do is we'll announce the winner at our next Slate Live.
Nice one. So what we're doing now is we're finishing off the next section. So essentially what I'll do is before I go on, I'll do a little bit of a recap in case anyone's joining. If you are joining, it's too late. Someone's already won the one-day class in London, a new academy. But what we'll do is we will go through. So starting from the beginning again, we took section from the back, and it came from the crown area, so from where the growth patterns happen, and we separated the back area. We separated it for two reasons. One, because we wanted to build the weight in the back, and so we wanted to really build this point. And the other thing is, from this point onwards, we wanted to build the weight here, and we wanted to start slimming the weight after that. So we just built the weight in the back in this area, and then we took a section from here, and we really flattened it here, so we wanted to make it flatter here, and we started to connect from this flat point to the back heavy, flat, heavy. So we worked around from the short to the long, short to the long, short to the long, short to the long. So at the end you can see these 2 points, one's long, one's short. And so what we were doing is we were slowly connecting all the way up, like you see here. So it pivoted from the top all the way across, really building the weight. After that, in order to get this lovely little long piece, we took a section, we elevated it up, we connected this, and we just pulled everything up to that first section high up, so we were really slimming the top here and building the weight through the bottom. What we're doing now is we work through the other side. So when we work through the other side, we started with one section through the top, we lifted it up, and we cut a nice little round layer through here. So we cut a nice little round layer through here, and we had the length in the back, the shorter length at the front, and it nicely pushed it back. So what we did after that was, just remember now, sorry, we then turned the hair down and we connected the dots. So we had a short point here from the layer and a short point here, and we worked across, connecting it all the way through. So just to show you, we elevated the hair out, and we just connected from the point we had cut the layer into the graduation. We had the layer on the side and the graduation in the back. So progressively got heavier each time we worked more towards the back. And that's just a little recap for you guys. Now we're going to do the final section on the top. Cool. If you have any questions, let us know. If you're liking this, please like and share. We much appreciate it.
I think by the end we're going to have to think of another question to ask to give some other people a chance to enter the draw. So get thinking.
Let's see who comes up with the best question, guys.
We'll all be thinking.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing on this side. What that means is we're going to take a section from the front here, working all the way into the back. So we want to build the weight in the back here. So we're going to take a section which comes all the way from the middle of the top and connects into the back. So I'm just going to push the hair forwards for now.
Would you change the way that you work on different textured hair or not?
Yeah, obviously you change the technique, let's say, because sometimes it's not appropriate. I think we were speaking about this yesterday when we had that seminar. So, you know, we were talking about, you know, different types of hair and different techniques. You know, if the hair's, you know, really straight and heavy, you know, you might want to give it a bit of graduation in the line because it'll make things a little bit softer, it won't stick out so much. Or if it's curly hair, you might not want to do a one length on it because it's going to make it too triangular. So what you can do is you can always change your technique depending on it. Then I think it's more about the face shape when I change my shape. So I think I work on those vibes more.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to everyone?
Let us know, guys. If you have any other questions about hair or anything, please just ask us. Michael loves a question. He's happy to answer anything.
I love a good question. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're just elevating, we're just doing a nice round layer and towards the front here.
Beautiful.
I'm going to sneak on that was close. That was close. Almost.
I thought something bad had happened then. I thought you cut your knuckle off.
No. It's almost a sneeze. It's almost a sneeze. Guys, it's already freezing here in London, so we don't want to hear how hot it is where you are.
Especially in Hawaii. You get very jealous.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, we are okay to come to Hawaii.
Yeah.
We are open to it. We don't mind. You's going to come with us, right?
Yeah,
of course.
You's coming with us.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm ready.
So beautiful. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just to have a much stronger guideline, I'm going to actually take one more section into this. So I've done one section, but I'm going to do one more just so I have a really strong guideline so I can make sure that I'm not missing any bits out. So I think it's really important, you know, and I say this pretty bluntly, a guideline should be like a smack in the face. You should really be able to see your guideline really clearly. If you're questioning your guideline, you'll probably missed it. You know, anyone that's a student really that I've seen from my experience that's not quite sure where their guideline is, normally when I check they've missed it. So I think a guideline has to be a really clear thing for you. So I'm really making sure that my guideline from this first section is really obvious to me before I move on.
Nice.
Okay? So that center section is really obvious before I move on as well. Okay, cool. So what we can do now is we can start connecting the dots. So we have a short piece here from the underneath, we have a short piece from the top, and I'm going to start working through and just connecting the dots here.
It's a nice way to work, I think. It makes everything much more simple.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. You know, hairdressing shouldn't, you know, be too complicated, I feel life's complicated enough. You know, we have to do so much as well as hairdressers. We have to be people's counselors, you know what I mean? They're therapists.
With the chef and the waiter.
With the chef and the waiter. You know, we have to be good at giving head massages and making coffees. We're the barrister, we're the masseuse. We're all of these things as well. And we have to give the world's best haircut, right? So anything we can do to make our lives easier and get our vision in quicker, I think is a good thing. So for me, anything that can make my life a little bit easier is going to be something that I want to hear about.
So at the end,
Yeah.
with the view of having symmetry, we're going to have this top bit slightly...
No, I mean, it's going to be symmetrical because of the underneath. I think that's the symmetry in it. So for me, a side parting, you know, just because I have a side parting and this side's longer, doesn't mean it's asymmetric. As long as the weight balance is the same, I'm okay with that. Asymmetry for me is like
something really
off-kill, you know. It's not the top. I think if the top and you have a side parting, it's natural for it to be, let's say, not exactly the same length on both sides.
Yeah. That makes sense. So you started at the front.
Yeah.
And worked back. Why?
Yeah. I think because first of all, it's a round shape, and we're trying to like build the weight. So I find
towards
it
the
towards the back. So I find this is going to be easier for me when I'm working forwards to start with the short and build into the long. So that's really the reason.
Just want to say hi to Carlos from Peru tuning in now.
Hey Carlos. What's up, brother? Cool. So just continuing to work and we're starting from the short point. We have a guideline in our fingers, and we're curving this round, and we're connecting the dots to the top. So again, all I did was I did the layer in the middle, and I had the short pieces from the underneath that I did, and I'm just connecting the dots at this point. So I have my 2 dots, and I'm just working it through.
It's amazing how you can change the way someone looks. You look completely different now from really in a good way. You always look beautiful, so it's okay.
Oh, thank you.
Here's a little charm of this one.
Douglas, hi Scotland.
We've got some locals tuning in. I like that. I like that. You can tell us what the weather's like there. We don't mind. Cool. So yeah, looking amazing. Everything's just coming out now. That's really gorgeous. Really taking shape nicely. So we're almost finished, which is amazing.
So have you got some disconnection going here?
Essentially the disconnection is really in this front area. That's really the major disconnection. Apart from that, it's got disconnection in the parting. And so really for me, I would really define a creative haircut as something that has more like the disconnection we see here, not really the disconnection we have in the parting. I think a lot of classic haircuts kind of have that. So it's got that tiny little quirky little element here with the disconnection in the front that makes it a little bit more fun and soft. But apart from that, it's a fairly standard classic haircut in my opinion.
I think what's really beautiful as well is when you can work disconnection and make it not look disconnected.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Which is what's going on here, which is really, really good.
Well, that's the thing. I think all of these things should have an element of subtlety. If you're not going for something very dramatic, anyone who knows Slate's work knows that we can do dramatic. We can definitely use disconnection that brings out quite a strong invoking image, But what we're going for here was something that's a little bit of a softer vibe. I think it's a little bit softer. So
I'm from Serbia and Norway. The weather is...
Oh, let's hear.
I've lost it.
No.
Wet and windy.
Yes. Fine. Same as us. That's cool. Let's get some of this off as well.
So Gregory's asked what type of colours do we use, like companies, and I guess it changes depending on where we are.
Yeah, so we work with a couple of different companies around the world where we're really lucky to be sponsored by L'Oreal in Cyprus or with Milkshake in Greece. So we really work with different product companies wherever we are, and so we're very lucky. We have a great variety to work with wherever we travel. Okay, so this is looking nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
really gorgeous.
Cool. Really cool. So what I'll do is I'll just have a little bit of a tweak here at the bottom, and then I'll start to get some products as well.
Pierre said hi. So hi Pierre, we're doing very good over here in London, thank you. Hi Matt from Australia.
What's up guys? What time is it in Australia? Are they forwards or back?
They're forwards, they're ahead of everyone.
God man.
Yeah, so they must be in the morning. Pretty early, I reckon.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I love that. Up bright and early, ready for a cuppa.
So what are we doing here?
So here I'm just doing a little bit of a fade in, to be honest. Nothing too dramatic. So for me, I really want to keep U's head up because I just want to see how it's more naturally sitting. That's it. I just want to see. I'm loving this vibe with the wet. So I'm actually thinking I'm gonna leave it like a little bit of a wet look today. I think it's really gorgeous.
That is cool. I like it.
Yeah, really gorgeous. So we're just fading in a little bit, the soft outlines. So we're just fading in any long pieces that come in. So you can see we're not actually going high with it. We're just going at the very bottom here, just to grab these kind of long bits that we're poking out. So we're still leaving it quite heavy there, which is nice.
8:30 a.m. in Australia.
Hey, you are bright and early, mate. Love it.
Whereabouts in Australia are you guys from? Let us know.
I love that. Hair education in the morning. What a good way to start the day.
Great way.
Breakfast and hair education. That's the way we should all start our mornings. I love it. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a little bit of a product as well. So we're also launching our new collection. Maybe James, you can mention a little bit of something about our latest collection as well.
Absolutely. So we're just releasing at the moment on Instagram. We've got the images coming out as we go. We wanted to release it just in time for Salon International, which was just last weekend. So that's been great. And we started to use the images to start to send our courses. So what we're doing is each of the models that we've got in our collection actually represents each one of our courses. So what we've got is we've got one model for the geometrics, which is a really beautiful classic round graduation. We've got a model for the abstract, which is something slightly more asymmetric. So what we have is we have people, different shapes and different techniques combined into one haircut. So once we've gone through the three geometrics, then we move on to the abstracts. And that's when we start having fun mixing the shapes and techniques. Then after that, we also have the creative, which is where we start doing things more like this. So subtle disconnection, we can work with some more extreme disconnection and more collection style work. We've also got models from styling, because we do offer styling workshops as well. And we've got a male model in there, because we offer some beautiful men's courses.
Yeah. Amazing. So yeah, you can see the collection as it's being released. You know, we released it fully for the first time yesterday to our group of students from Greece that Armour Beauty brought over. So that was really nice to show everyone the new collection. And if you do follow our social media, you're able to see the new collection in full as it gets released. But I've just put in a little bit of wet look product, a little bit of a gel vibe. I just love this kind of like wet look that's coming out at the moment.
It's great experimenting, isn't it? With one haircut, we can create such different looks with styling.
I mean, you know, this is one thing that I think the clients and us are really lucky about, is that it's so easy these days to come up with different looks because of the product bases as well. You know, that's the thing, with the different colours we can have and all of these things, we can have such a variety as well. So it's really nice to see. Gorgeous. And we're just opening it up. So what I'll do, guys, is I'll give you a nice little recap as well. So we'll just talk you through what we've done exactly. Any questions you have, it's your last chance. So speak now or forever hold your peace, as they say.
Do you want to say a quick hi to Michael, who owns this incredible building that we're working in? So thanks.
What's up, Michael?
So to Colleen, we actually, me and Michael aren't colourists. We don't do the colour. So we'll have to get back to you on that question. We'll reply to you in the feed, so don't worry about that.
So what we'll try and do, guys, you know, not for the next 1 or 2 days, if you guys do have questions, we'll try and answer them as well. Obviously, when we have a chance to go back and read through them, we will. That's looking cool. Just soften out.
Wow, it looks so modern. It's really beautiful.
Cool. So we're just using the comb to give a little bit of separation as well. That's amazing. Yeah. Gorgeous. Cool. Right. So I think it's time for a little recap. Amazing. What we can probably do is get you to stand up as well. Cool. Amazing. So let's get this gown off. Beautiful. Looking cool. So what I'll do is I'll give you guys a little bit of a recap what we did. I'm Michael, by the way. This is the amazing James. This is the beautiful you. First of all, we started in the back, so if you don't mind, we're just going to spin you around and we'll start in the back. We took a section which was a little triangle in the back, and the reason was we wanted to build the weight here the most in the back, and so we started to build our shape, and we really angled it towards the jawline and worked our way down. We worked quite steep because we really wanted to accentuate this bit and build out the head shape as well. The reason we took the triangle here was because after the triangle, where the head started to stick out a lot, I wanted to slim it down as well. So we worked through a section that came to the top here, and what I did was I worked with my fingers quite flat, and I did my first section, so it really made sure this area behind the ear was very flat. I then connected this point into the back. Now because the angle was quite long here, and the angle was quite flat here, when I connected it, it went from shorter, so from shorter here, into the longer lengths in the back, so it connected all the way through just connecting all the way through. Then I wanted to leave these lovely softer pieces as well. So what I did was I elevated this all the way up to the top. So the top was connected in, and I elevated it all the way up. I did the same on the second side, so it's the same technique. Building the weight here behind the head, slimming the weight on the ear, and then connecting it in across as we work, elevating it up as we go. We then worked through the layer, so we took a rounded layer, and whoever answered the question right won themselves a free day in London, which is great. So the shorter piece in the front, all the way connecting to that graduation in the back, which was heavier as well. All right. Then what we did was, once we did that section in the middle, we then connected short to the side, short to the side. So it's a dot, the layer into what we've done at the bottom, and we just worked through horizontally, connecting them through all the way, so really building the weight through the side here. What we then did was we did the same on this side, and we worked through short from the front all the way to the back to the graduation. So again, it just came through heavy, short all the way into the back heavy, and then we worked through horizontally. So we connected that short point with the round layer here all the way in, all the way in, all the way in, and that was it.
Beautiful. I love it. I love the styling on it as well with the wet look. I think it's really great.
It's
Beautiful.
amazing. So guys, if you are really nerdy like me and you like these things a lot, you can see the head sheets. So we always go live on our Facebook page. So it's Slate Hair Education. That's Slate Hair Education's Facebook page. And we're going to go live in about 5 minutes, and we'll do the head sheets for you as well, okay? So for those of you that possibly won, you guys can also check out Slate Hair Education's Facebook, and we'll announce who won later to come and see us in our new academy.
Cool.
I think that's it.
Thanks everyone so much for tuning in. Please like and share the video. Much love.